Before we delve into what this bar chart is actually saying, we're going to look at what it actually means. Because almonds, albeit fairly innocuous and common, you never really think as far as a superfood when it comes to workouts, in this case, workout recoveries. Now, what we're looking at is individuals which trained quite hard for about a 90-minute period of time over a 4-week period, and they pushed themselves quite well. And what the almonds showed to do over the control group, which was eating a cereal bar, is it increased certain fatty acids, oxalipin. I believe the fatty acid was 12-13-hydroxy-9Z, octadecenoic acid. Don't quote me on that yet till we look at the study, but that's what I believe it was. And so by raising that, it increased everything from these metabolic factors, recovery, mood, reduction of fatigue, so on and so forth, which makes it quite remarkable because all the participants did in regard to the study is they consumed 57 grams of almonds compared to the control group, which consumed the cereal bar. And there's a caveat to that, which we'll get into the methods and methodology in a second, twice per day, like half in the morning and half towards later on in the afternoon. That was it. So you can imagine it has a powerful, powerful workout supplement that is there, fairly inexpensive, and just, how would say, easy to consume. Not like you're swallowing 57 tablets. So what does this bar chart show? The bar chart is showing bar chart. Basically, so what it was showing is basically that this is the phenolic compounds after 4 weeks consumption compared to the control group, which was consuming a cereal bar. Not only that, the level of this beneficial fatty acid, 12-13, hydroxy-9Z, octadecenoic acid, was 69% higher than the ones consuming the cereal bar. Quite significant. But I digress. Let's get right into the study as follows. Eating almonds daily boosts exercise recovery molecule by 69% among weekend warriors. For those who exercise regularly, eating almonds each day might be the ideal New Year's resolution. It takes me a while to go through all these studies, as you can see. A randomized controlled trial in the Frontiers of Nutrition showed that female and male participants who ate 57 grams of almonds daily for 1 month had more of the beneficial fat, thus we went through 12-13-dehydroxy-9Z, octadecenoic acid, in their blood immediately after a session of intense exercise than the control participants. This molecule, a so-called oxylipin, oxidized fat, is synthesized from linoleic acid by brown fat tissue and has a beneficial effect on the metabolic health and energy regulation. So here we go. Quote, here we show that volunteers who consumed 57 grams of almonds a daily for 1 month before a single weekend warrior exercise bout had more beneficial of this particular fat in their blood, the 12-13-dihomo, if you want to say that, immediately after exercise than control volunteers. To reiterate, they also reported feeling less fatigue and tension, better leg back strength, and decreased muscle damage after exercise than control volunteers. Now, there's a really interesting tidbit of information we're going to pull out of the research, and it is something to be aware of. Importantly, immediately after exercise, the concentration of this beneficial fat, 12-13-dihomo, was 69% higher in the blood of plasma participants in the almond group, than the participants in the control group. 12-13-dihomo is known to increase the transport of fatty acid and its uptake by skeletal muscle with the overall effect of stimulating metabolic recovery after exercise. Here is the caveat. The control group. Now, again, correlation doesn't mean causation. And, sometimes, the placebo and the control could have issues, but still make a mental note of this without drawing any conclusive factual data. The reverse pattern was found for another oxylipin, the mildly toxic 9,10-dehydroxy-12 octadecenoic acid, not to be confused with our 12-13 friend, was 40% higher immediately after exercise in the blood of the control group than in the almond group. Unlike 12-13-dihomo, 9,10-dihomo, the dark side, had been shown to have a negative effect on overall health and the body's recovery to exercise. All right, with that in mind, it's vital that I show you the methodology, meaning what the control was and how everything was consumed. I am not going to quote any names. It's listed in the study itself. But again, correlation is a big word. Maybe it had to do with something. Maybe it didn't have to do with something. But I do want to keep it there because a lot of you are my friends. So draw your own conclusion or observation, because you really can't draw a conclusion. But you can be cognizant. Here we go. 4-week supplementation period, 90 minutes of eccentric exercise bout challenge. Participants in the almond group consumed 57 grams of almonds each day in split doses, half in the morning and half in the afternoon. Now, read on. You can pause if you like, but read on. Because again, if you think about it, whatever the result was, whatever the reasoning was for the 40% rise in the 9,10-D fatty acid, which is not conducive to basic exercise recovery, albeit draw your own observation, and from your observation, if there you can act. To proceed, the almonds, important part is the skin. So keep that in mind. So you look at almonds on the market and you see them skinless. It sounds gross, but it's an almond. But, just be aware. The polyphenol in almond skin may be the key. The colleagues concluded that daily consumption of almonds leads to a change in metabolism, downregulating inflammation. I didn't mention the inflammation part, downregulating it, and oxidative stress from exercise, enabling the body to recover faster. Quote, we conclude that almonds provide a unique and complex nutrient and polyphenol mixture that may support metabolic recovery from stressful levels of exercise. Almonds have high amounts of protein, healthy types of fats, vitamin E, minerals, and fiber. And the brown skin of almonds contains polyphenols that end up in the large intestine and help control inflammation and oxidative stress. End quote. Now at the conclusion from the full study, where you also find the methodology which I showed you a little earlier. So here we go. It words it a little bit more in detail, but equally, if not greater in coolness. To proceed, the improved mitochondrial function, reduced fat mass, fasting insulin and triglycerides, and is elevated in the blood compartment after an acute bout of exercise. Sounds bad, but it's good. In both male and female subjects. In general, the elevated post-exercise plasma levels of our friend 1213, not to be confused with the 910 dihome, with almond intake support positive metabolic outcomes for adults engaging in unaccustomed, eccentric, you know what I mean, exercise bouts. Other almond-related benefits for exercise revealed in this study include reduced feelings of fatigue and tension, better leg strength during recovery, and decreased muscle damage during the first day of recovery. So, what do we take from this? Well, actually, it's quite amazing because you look at all the supplements on the market and everything else that a person can take and consume, and you worry about the safety profile and things like that. You got to look at a whole food or something like this from almonds and say, wow, if it could do all that and it actually shows it does it and changes the profile of the blood and so on and so forth, you can't really ask for anything better. So let's say, for example, now this is publisher bias. Publisher bias means I'm adding my own hypothesis that's outside the scope of the outcome of the research. But if you look at a safe snack for individuals, for example, like growing people, teenagers, whatever, growing people, and and you're concerned, what a better outcome per se, better tool, nutritional tool, nutraceutical, than just a handful of almonds. Think how healthy that could be for kids in sports and so on and so forth, or whatever the desired physical daily regimen is required for that day. Pretty cool for just something as simple as the humble almond. Again, gratitude to the researchers. Thank you for listening. You may notice for a lot of you, I'm starting to include very short 60-second info in regard to research, which is great information, but doesn't necessarily have detailed. So you start paying attention to the shorts I'm starting to produce on YouTube and TikTok, 1-minute clips. I hope you find those useful as well. But regardless, just the same, I am humbled you watch and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Catch you next time. Bye.